Hello. Today I'm going to talk about a movie that is 10 years old, and it's a film that I've enjoyed watching quite a bit over the years. Just Sicario, cool steelbook version. Actually stars Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro, and Josh Brolin. Uh, this film was directed by Denis Villeneuve. Um, 2 years before this, he made Prisoners, which I talked about already, and I really enjoyed that film. He also directed Blade Runner 2049, as well as the new Dune films. Um, I've got the overall plot here because while this does sort of give a good general rundown on the back here, but here it kind of gives a better picture for so anybody who has never watched this film, you can kind of have a good clue as to what the gist of this film is, at least at the beginning. Kate Mercer leads a Phoenix-based kidnap response unit for the FBI. Following Kate's team leading on a raid and on a known drug den in nearby Chandler, Kate is recruited to work on a special ops team led by Matt Graver, played by Josh Brolin. Kate Mercer is obviously Emily Blunt. Matt Graver of the CIA. He is he who is on a special assignment in the Department of Defense. They recruited her because they wanted someone with tactical procedures knowledge. Outwardly, the team's mission, which works behind the Delta Force team as a primary gunpowder as required, is to decapitate a Mexican drug lord cartel, or yeah, by capturing or dismembering the workings of the main players, cartel head Manuel Diaz, second in command Guillermo Diaz, Manuel's brother, and drug lord Fausto Alacron. Kate agrees to the assignment as she feels the work of this team would be more effective in stopping the drug trade in the U.S. than the piecemeal work of her current kidnap response unit. The third on the team is a mysterious Hispanic or Latino man, Kay only knows as Alejandro, Benicio del Toro, and who she does not fully trust, as she can tell he is suffering from a very traumatic past. When Kate and the team arrive in El Paso on the first mission, Kate learns that the team's workings are not all they appear on the surface. Many of the deep proceedings, which would not be considered above board or legal, despite the end goal being, as she knows it to be, still largely in the dark and only given information on a need-to-know basis. Kate decides to stake it out with the team, only to discover that she is not told that all that she is not told is discover all that she is not told while still believing in the end goal. She maybe have changing or at least mixed emotions as she learns more and more about what's going on, including the specific reason why she was recruited. So, yeah. This is a very good film. It's a very good rundown of what goes on, regarding like combating the whole drug war or drug situation that goes from Mexico into America, um, as well as trying to deal with those at the top, because there's only so much you can do with the people who run the drugs in to the country. You can detain them and deport them, and in the midst of that, they'll just get new people. So that's kind of like, if you're going to try to do something, you got to do something at the top. Try to stop this where something will actually happen, and perhaps some things will change for the better, or at least that's the plan. Um, but yeah, this is an excellent film. Uh, it's a film that is well written. It's written by Taylor Sheridan, who also wrote the sequel, which I know not too many people are fond of the sequel. I don't hate it. Of course, I don't think it's better than this film, so there is that. But yeah, the way this film is made, the way it's shot, very well. It's very good. The acting is excellent. Performances are fantastic, and I actually think that Benicio del Toro should have been at least nominated for an Oscar for this film. Um, Whether he would have won, obviously, that's another question. I still am really, for the most part, for I would have been for Stallone winning for Creed, though. I think if Benicio del Toro was nominated, I could see him being a potential winner. And I probably would not have been all that upset. I mean, obviously, there's the whole, well, I preferred somebody else, but still, Del Toro winning would have been cool. Same with him being nominated. Um, but yeah, this is just a very good film. Uh, Josh Brolin is really good in this film. Also, everybody is great. Also, Daniel Kaluuya is in this film as a partner of Emily Blunt's. And yeah, this is just a film that is well made, and yeah, there really isn't too much all I wanted to really say other than it's an excellent film. To anybody who has seen it, you probably know why I like it. A lot of action. Um, there is some very grisly images because you do see people getting shot and everything, and even people when they go into Mexico, you see bodies hanging, and they don't all have heads and certain limbs. It's like for a sign to everybody around, and or at least who goes by that certain area, and you get a very good feel, and you get to see exactly the kind of thing that what goes on really in that whole world. And it's obviously not pretty. Obviously, nobody would think so, but it's very well done, and it's very effective in showing the kind of stuff that goes on with situations like this. And yeah, Alejandro is probably the best character in the film, really. We do get to know some things about his past throughout the film. Uh, but I'll just leave it at that because yeah, he's just like a consulate, somebody who's helping them. And yeah, again, there is a sequel. I thought it was fine, not better than the first film, but I'm curious if a third film will ever happen. The second film kind of led, seemed to be like, yeah, there will be a second, but whether or not, or a third film, whether there will be or not, I don't know. Also, I know that Taylor Sheridan has been doing a lot of TV shows, so I could definitely would have a hand in why a third film has either not been written or at least not finished, if anything is written. Um, but yeah, here's the steel book. Here's the back. It's the American flag. And on the inside, got these guys all prepared for combat. And then here is the disc. Yeah, there was a digital code, but yeah. Again, I know not everybody likes steel books, and I understand that. I've seen some steel books that just look lame, and I'm like, no, I'm just getting the the typical normal version things. Like unless a steel book had a very special thing, or it looks cooler than the normal like Blu-ray, I'm fine with just the normal, Blu-ray or even 4K. I'm fine with just the standard version. But this looks cool. I also like the overlay. This is also a Lionsgate release, so that also explains that. But even then, it's still just pretty cool. Either way. Um, but yeah, if you enjoy crime films, this isn't a true story, but what goes on with these agencies and everything, there is a good amount of truth to it. So it's not, you know, it's fiction yet true all at once. Fictional story, but the situations of what's going on with real cartels from Mexico and all that. And of course, there's the whole thing about the drug war. It shouldn't be going. It shouldn't exist, or it should. And there's reasons why for or against. But one thing's for sure: this whole thing has affected a lot of people's lives. Most of the time, very negatively. And yeah, I understand passionately why people are one way or another. And so, yeah, I'm obviously not going to get into my whole stance on that because that's kind of defeats the purpose. Because the point is, the film, while fiction, is also in a good way of pretty realistic. At least I don't recall ever seeing that this was based on real series of events that was heavily fictionalized. I just think it's like here's some real stuff that goes on in the world, you know. So making a fake film, fictional film uh, about this, and in so many ways, it's very, very exciting in many ways. With the various actions and stuff. It does make you wonder about some of the methods being used, like typically like this is not right, but because of the circumstances and the people involved, it's like, well, let's typically not right for one police uh, organization, like a local police station or certain special task force of said uh, typical police unit. If it's on a federal level, things are a bit different, uh, rightly or wrongly. And of course, it would likely make you wonder, do the ends justify the means? And yeah. Excellent film. Makes you curious and about what you think about some of the stuff going on. But yeah, because even though in so many ways you are on their side, at the same time it's like some of the stuff going on is quite intense, and it makes you wonder. Like if you were in that situation, would you be for this or against this, or would you be very mixed? Because it's like on one hand, I'm not really for certain things, but also a lot of horrible stuff is going on. We know exactly really who did it and the ways to get at them. We have to go through various unorthodox ways in order to get them. Yeah. And obviously, that's Kate's dilemma throughout this. She wants to get the guys who are responsible for something horrible that happened at the very beginning of the film, where they find a whole lot of dead bodies hidden behind the walls of a home that they heard was for it was supposed to be there's some kidnapped people, people who were held hostage somewhere. So they come in, go to find them, and they end up finding dead bodies behind a wall. Particularly when Kate goes into a room, they're clearing all the rooms. She goes into one, guy has a shotgun, shoots at her. She gets down and fires back and kills the guy, and then from that hole, that the shotgun blast left, they could see through, and they opened it up, and they found a couple of decaying bodies, and then they rip out the walls for like the hallways and everything. They're doing the same in all the other rooms, and they're finding all these bodies, and then there's a shed, with a lock to a little door underneath. You go to get bolt cutters and found something, and as Kate hears, she goes back to see what's going on, and as soon as they cut open the lock and open the door, an explosion happens. So obviously there was a bomb. And that's what starts the whole thing. I could have said all that at the very beginning, but I had all that. I found that detailed plot synopsis. I'm like, that's very good. I want to use that. Of course, none of that was there, but I figured I should probably also say this before, as I wrap this up. Another thing, Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. On December 14th, were murdered. So rest in peace to them. Details at the moment are still being, discussed. So yeah, I figure I should probably just say that now, because I used to for a time say when somebody famous passed away, but after a while that kind of got very depressing. But yeah, and also last week, Peter Green, who was in The Mask, the villain of The Mask, also passed away. He was also in Pulp Fiction. He played Zed. But yeah, But yeah, Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered, you know, stabbed to death. So rest in peace to them and to Peter Green. He was 60. Still not sure how he passed away as of now, but yeah, being murdered like that. And while there does seem to be somebody uh, looked at for the murder of Rob Reiner and his wife. I'm not going to say who that is because you never know. It could be turn out to be somebody else. We still just don't know, even though things seem to be very precise. Still, not a whole lot of information has been revealed. I mean, there have been, but then they kind of, the authorities are kind of like now talking back about, oh no, it's just looking into things. So it's like, is it this person or is it somebody else or what? But yeah, excellent film. Rest in peace to Peter Green and Rob Reiner, Michelle Reiner. Yeah. Peter Green was an excellent actor, great character actor, and Rob Reiner, excellent director, or a fine actor. Yeah. Anyway, I hope all of you are doing well. Hope overall this me talking about this was interesting enough. Even if I did kind of give the rundown of the very beginning at the end, because I know they didn't go into certain detail with that, but I thought, yeah, why not? Guess I'm ending it, but yeah. Anyway, hope all of you are well. Hope you're all having a great day. Hope you all have a great weekend, and we'll have a great week. It is Christmas next week. And Hanukkah has been going on now since Sunday, so if you celebrate Hanukkah, hope you're all having a great Hanukkah. And I shall see you all next time. Please take care, and just have a great day and weekend.